Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Nope Coach podcast. This is episode 181, Finding Peace in the Everyday, Part 2. I'm your host, Suzanne Culberg, joined once again by Kerry Auret. And if you haven't listened to the previous episode, by all means, you can stay here. I'll give you a quick recap. But if you do have the chance, press pause, go back and listen for part 1, because we're just basically going to pick up where we left off. So, Sue's summary. Finding Peace in the Everyday, Part 1. Kerry spent, I think it was 17 years as a nurse, did some nursing and coaching together, but then wrapped up the nursing for 3 years, purely focused on coaching, and then has recently picked up nursing again part-time and is doing the coaching as well. And the reason that I'm so fascinated by this and finding peace in the everyday is many of us will burn out from our primary career, whether it be nursing, teaching, engineering, lawyering, doctoring, whatever. You know, we reach a point where we're like, I can't stand this anymore. And then we leave. And what I've nominally observed, and this is why this is fascinating for me, is we find some of us retrain and do a whole other career. Like I have many certifications and careers under my belt. And then we start again, and a couple of months later, it's like we're in the same situation. It's like it's the exact same movie with different actors, and we move from field to field to field and place to place to place. And the reason I'm fascinated by your story, Kerry, and want to pick up basically where you left off, is you re-entered the situation, like the career that you were in before, and now are having a totally different experience. And the industry has not changed. But you have. So where we were wrapping up, you were talking about you'd just gone back to work. Did you say 2 days a week?
Yeah, it's 2 days a week for the last month.
And how is it going?
It's funny because, like you said, the situation hasn't changed that much. Healthcare is a challenging workplace. And I often will come back from work, and my husband, usually the next day, because I come home late at night, he'll ask me how my day was. And I'll be like, oh, it was awful. People were screaming out in the middle of the night. Like the things were difficult to find. The nurses aren't helpful, but I had a great time. So it's not like I'm in denial and I'm not seeing it for what it is. I'm able to see how, in a lot of ways, the system is pretty broken and how the conditions are not great for a lot of people working in the medical field. And I can see how there's just so much on each nurse's plate every night. And it's just challenging working with very sick people. And I can see and acknowledge all of that. And I don't have to take any of it on.
Yes.
And that's how I am at work. And it does take some effort. It does that's, it's been years of effort and slowly but surely changing my entire belief systems about how the world works and the day-to-day things. Like, I make sure that I have time to journal in the morning. I used to listen to podcasts on the way to work, and then the last couple of weeks I've been listening to really high energy music that just makes me smile. And I smile and I dance in my car. I have another little practice that I do every time I go to the bathroom. There's a big mirror in front of me, and I smile and I like pep talk myself in the mirror. I'm like, you're doing a great job. Yeah, you're the best nurse. And I just do that in my head and smiling in the mirror. Like, just putting a smile on your face will change the chemicals in your body. It's so incredible. So sometimes I'm not smiling on the inside when I start smiling, but it gets you there. And so I've been using these tools and these practices, and I've been using them in my life, and I've noticed like I'm so much more just calm and at peace with everything that's going on in my life. Just the other day, my husband was grumpy for a couple days. And at some point at the end of the day, I was just like being bubbly and myself and talking to him about something. And he's like, you're just not going to let my grumpy mood get to you, are you?
Yes.
And I just started laughing, and he started laughing. And it's just, it's It's pretty incredible. And I feel I had this realization that I've put myself in this environment where I get to put these tools and this new belief system to the test, right? Because my life has been pretty stress free. I mean, running your own business does come with some stress, but for the most part, I, had luxurious mornings that I could do what I needed. I had lots of time for my self care, working with amazing clients who are getting wonderful results, very, very rewarding work. I can work from anywhere, I can travel. And so I learned a lot about how to support people through stress and anxiety because I had a lot of clients coming to me for that. And I could relate to them because I used to really struggle with stress and anxiety for those years that I worked as a nurse. And at the same time, I wasn't actually in those environments myself. And so I kind of had this like aha, like realization the other day, like, wow, this job, I've chosen this. And it's also this amazing opportunity for me to take everything that I've learned, really put it into practice in this kind of extreme stress environment. I'm like, that's pretty cool that I did that because
And
I can just relate even more to the people that I'm supporting in this area. Sorry, that was
no,
a
you're
long
right. No,
monologue.
it's all cool. I loved how you that I'm just going to circle back to when your husband said, like, you're not going to let my mood, interfere with yours. I did an episode a number ago. It's like, why don't we let joy touch our sadness? Because for many of us, you can be having a relatively good day and then one little thing goes wrong and you will let that derail it. How come we don't have the opposite? Like, you can be having, a not so great day, but then one little good thing derails it in the other direction. So it's just kind of like we get to be responsive to that. And I loved how you spoke about methods that worked for you. You're like, actually, I don't tune into podcasts on the way to work anymore. I like upbeat music. For me personally, I don't watch the news in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of people, family, close friends have been like, oh, you're not keeping informed. And I'm like, trust me, if something needs to be informed, I will find out about it. But by watching the news, like when I visit my extended family, my dad, he watches the 6 p.m. news. Actually, starts at 5. He watches the early news, then the regular news, then the 7:30 report, and then like it's pretty much the same stories again and again and again, getting progressively darker as the hours get, so it's less child friendly. And I'm like, why would I want to marinate in that? It's a personal choice, and it's not to deny that hard things aren't happening. But me sitting around in doom and gloom and rewatching and hypnotizing myself for all the things that are going wrong isn't something that I choose to put myself into. And I love how you're talking about a workplace that is stressful. There's a lot of demands. There's a lot to be done. There's a lot of people who are, in pain or uncomfortable.
Yes.
But then you being this beacon or grounded in self, because there are people, I'm going to do a tangent, but you know how there's people that you see or visit and afterwards you feel brighter, you feel more vibrant. I enjoy, and I think that's why music, you're talking about, music lifts this. And then there's some people who are kind of remind me of like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. It's like, oh dear. And it's like, oh no. But you finding your balance amongst all this so that you're not swayed by the individuals that you interact with or the things that you come across.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend? Like, do you have any tips or suggestions for people who, and you said on the previous episode, not everybody can leave their work for 3 years, or not everybody's in a position to up and change. But for people to start to find that peace in the everyday, what would you recommend?
Definitely starting with the body. In the prior episode, I was talking about just noticing tightness in my body. And that's usually the first sign of anxiety or overwhelm. So that's always step one. And I start every coaching and hypnotherapy session with some nervous system tools. So just practicing them consistently, not only when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, but actually doing it as a practice. I have an alarm on my phone every morning, afternoon, and evening that reminds me to just stop and do some nervous system tools. This can be as easy as taking a slow breath in through your nose and breathing out like you're breathing out of a straw.
Mm.
We can do faster EFT. If you Google that, you'll find it. If you come to my Instagram, I have videos of it. You can interlace your fingers, put them behind the base of your neck, look to your left elbow until you yawn or swallow, look to your right elbow until you yawn or swallow. These are all very simple things that you can do. So first, taking care of the body. Sometimes before we can down-regulate, we might need to up-regulate. If you've been in a state of fight or flight for a very long time, your system actually gets exhausted. And that's when you like can't get out of bed. You feel completely not motivated. You're exhausted all the time. Sometimes you need to jump and dance and shake out your hands.
I love to shake.
Shake. It's a Native American practice. They used to do it. And I really recommend doing that consistently, not only when you're feeling that way, because when you're already tipped over that point of feeling stressed, frustrated, anxious, overwhelmed, it's hard to remember to do those tools if you haven't already been doing them all the time. So it's twofold. It helps you to have it as a practice so that you can remember it when you really need it. And it's going to be preventative. It's going to be less likely that you're going to get to that like 7, 8, 9, 10 on the stress scale if you've been taking care of your nervous system. And it's fun. Just put on some music. It doesn't have to take long. It can take less than a minute. Just doing it consistently is helpful. And then habit stacking is what I teach my clients. Like, you know, when you're brushing your teeth, allow your peripheral vision to widen and just note, like, you just feel so relaxed. Like, I'm doing it right now. You can even do it while you're driving. It's not unsafe. You're actually just taking in more of your environment. Those slow breaths, again, is a very easy thing to do. So taking care of the body is number one. The other thing with the body is relaxing the jaw. When we relax the jaw, it sends a signal to the rest of our body that it's okay to relax. People often clench their jaw when they're stressed out. It's because we're going into fight mode, and it's actually preparing your body to fight and bite, which is kind of wild to think about. But so when you're clenching your jaw, it's sending a signal to your body that you're about to be attacked, right? So relaxing the jaw. I massage my jaw every time I take a shower. Again, that's a habit stack. It's like I'm in the nice warm water. I choose to think of my shower as self-care and like this beautiful, relaxing experience. As I go in there, I relax my jaw. I put my beautiful Ayurvedic oil on my skin. I do that every night after I come home from my night shift. Not night shift, evening shift nursing job before I get into bed to just calm myself down.
And I wonder, I'm just going to jump in there, but so many of us, myself included, tend to have our best ideas in the shower. And I wonder if that's because we're allowing the nervous system to relax. We're coming out of the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, whichever response we've been in. And from this place, then we're open to inspiration, the muses, whatever you want to call it, because we're not like ready. I love how you said, you know, fight as in bite. I hadn't heard that before, but it makes sense. It's like it's gearing up the jaw because what do we have to, you know, defend or attack with? I love that. And
shoulders,
starting with the body.
even the eyes. The eyes are like, you squeeze
squinting,
your eyes because you're like, all of that. Think about it. You're in the shower, you're naked, you're warm, you're so relaxed, you're so vulnerable. Your body's like, they wouldn't be doing this right now if something was about to attack them.
Yes. And the other thing that you said that I really loved and want to bring attention to for people listening is to do these practices daily, regardless of whether or not you're feeling activated. Because I think sometimes we only leave these things until we're feeling stressed. But then when we're feeling stressed, we're less likely to do them because we're feeling stressed. Like, I haven't got time for that. So to make it part of your routine, like I brush my teeth, whether I've got time or not, like I make time. I'm not going anywhere with fuzzy, horrible breath. or long-term, you know, dentition. I come from a family of poor teeth, and a lot of my grandparents all had false teeth. I was like, no, I'm protecting these assets for as long as I can.
Yes. And so you can think of your brushing your teeth as self-care. Like just so that's the first part, is like taking care of the body. Once the body is taken care of, then we start to focus on the mind and choosing thoughts that are going to make us feel good. Even something like that. Like I've had clients that want to start a self-care routine, but it feels overwhelming and like too much work. And I'm like, you can still do all the things that you're doing now, but think of them in a different way, and it'll have a different impact on your life. And so if you're brushing your teeth and you're washing your face and you call it your self-care ritual, and you use that time to also maybe broaden your peripheral vision. I'm really into counting my steps. So sometimes I'll brush my teeth and walk around the living room while I do it. And I'm like, yes, this is like, I'm doing all these good things for myself. And it doesn't feel like a chore. It's self-care because I've labeled it as such. I
Yes, I
went,
love
I,
that.
yeah, I worked last night at my nursing job, and then I started another job too, because my husband's family has a day program for adults with special needs. And they need a little extra help. So I was like, I'm starting new jobs. I might as well do this too. When I go to this job, I don't think of it as a job. I think of it as like my downtime, my time. Like I get to connect with these beautiful, special people, and it's so relaxing. We do arts and crafts together. We go on walks outside. We go into the community. We do volunteer work. And then I get paid at the end of the
Oh,
day.
that's
I'm
a
like,
win. That's
yeah.
fabulous. I love that. It's about your attitude that you take into it. So this is we're at time though now, Kerry. So let everybody
Whoa, that
know.
was fast.
It went so fast. I was just looking, I was like, oh, we're going over. Oh well, it's my show. What do you do and where can people find you so they can find out more about these techniques that you're discussing with us?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at the Kerry Beauberry. It's KerryBoberry. I post a lot about the subconscious mind. I post a lot of nervous system tools, and my work is very holistic and combines a lot of different things. So you can find out more on Instagram. I also have a website, which is my real name, Kerry Auret, KerryAuret.com.
I love it.
Probably the best ways.
Thank you so much for joining me again, Kerry. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.
Bye.